Happy Veterans Day to you guys and ladies that have served in our military. I want to thank you guys. I don't think a lot of people understand. We wouldn't have platforms. I wouldn't be able to be here if it wasn't for the people that served in this country. So if you see a veteran today, say thank you. Buy them a coffee, buy them a drink, do something. But more people need to praise the people that have served in our military. You know, just kind of caught me today. A lot of people just don't understand what families, soldiers, and the families of the soldiers have sacrificed for us to have the opportunity to live in such a great country. So thank you to you veterans, and for all you and your family have done. Hey, I want to apologize right off the bat. It's windy as a mofo today. I don't know how bad the wind is going to pick up in this mic, but we got like 15, 20 mile an hour winds. But I want to get out and kind of talk to you guys about some trends I'm seeing in the industry. We saw the announcement in the last 2 days about the Lightning maybe being canceled. I went on Ford.com this morning and checked it out. You can't build a Ford F-150 Lightning right now. You can't search for one. And then I started thinking, how does this happen? How do we get there? How is this scenario brewing? Well, it's pretty simple. When this truck came out and was launched, this thing was going to come out for a $30,000 truck, not $60,000. I'm not an EV guy. You watch the channel, you see my needs. It doesn't work for me. But I see the value in it, and I'd like it to work for me because the idea of the performance of an electric vehicle, the chill nature of an electric vehicle, no oil changes, no spark plugs, no air filters, a crap ton of power. Man, for towing and needs like that, it'd be awesome. But there's a lot of downsides, and we've seen this in the last few years. So we can see how this situation happened when these prices went through the freaking roof on these F-150 Lightnings. Everyone I know that's ever driven one actually likes it. It's just most of the people I know, they have a truck, use a truck as a truck. And I've used this analogy before. An electric truck without much range is kind of like purposely going and buying a leaky diaper for your kid. You buy a truck for truck things, and if it can't do truck things, what's the point of doing it? A leaky diaper is a terrible product. An electric truck without any range towing, not a great product. If you notice, some of the topics around Ford losing $40,000 per Lightning being sold, or $122,000 last year, there's a little caveat to that. These manufacturers, when they launch new programs, new vehicles, especially like Ford Blue and Oval and all these different brands, they're going to accrue their losses for all the R&D and budget and amortize that across the vehicles sold. Rivian did the same thing. All these startups do this. It takes billions of dollars to get these companies going. Once you lay that burden on top of the production through rates of these vehicles, they're huge losers. This is why you don't see a lot of startup car manufacturers that are successful, because the burden to get in to the industry is so high and hard and expensive. So Ford getting rid of the Lightning, not surprised. I think there's going to be an opportunity for people that want a Lightning here soon that you could get it heavily discounted, and I hope that's the case, because that would be awesome for people that are looking for cheap and more affordable transportation. Cheap, quote unquote. $64,000 for a Lightning, I don't think is cheap. But what if you could get one half off? A four-wheel drive electric truck for 30 grand? You take care of it? Why couldn't it last you 15, 20 years? For something like that, I think it'd be kind of awesome. But will we see more come from this? You know, the Cybertruck's not selling well. I don't even like talking about EV stuff, because even if you bring it up on your channel, people don't like to hear about it. But a 500 horsepower, reliable, natural aspirated V8 and a half-ton truck would be a pretty awesome combination for towing and everything else like that. But right now, we've just got so many hurdles around these manufacturers where people are just right now trying to get a reliable vehicle and not having a 6.2 failing, or a 10-speed transmission failing, or an LZO failing, or a 2.7 liter Turbo Max burning substantial oil, or a Toyota Force Max engine failing. And that whole topic on the Toyota is hilarious in itself, because I've been watching this for about a year now, watching this recall from Toyota, and the hybrid variant was kept out of the recall. It was only the standard non-hybrid version of the 3.4 liter that's being recalled. The standard and the hybrid motor both have the same failure issue. The reason why the hybrid engine option was not included in the recall, from my understanding, was because it had a second form of propulsion that could get it off the road or out of an intersection if your engine is failing, where it wouldn't be deemed a safety recall. Just mind-boggling. The motor still got the same issues, but because of the way the laws are written, you can get around that. So that'll be interesting. Now more years are coming in that. Then you've got the GM 6.2 liter. Maybe more years are being added into this. What is the common theme we're seeing here? The common theme we're seeing here is more problems, more repairs, worse reliability, and pricing has gone up. And people are pissed about it. And I get it, because I think it's ridiculous too. The sad part for me is I've seen it so much in my career and in the automotive industry and doing reviews the last 3 years. I'm almost numb to it now. I almost go into this whole thing now thinking they're all junk. Just get it cheap and then be like, it's cool. The thing started up today. I should be really happy. No joke. That's how I think about it, sadly. And for the most part, it's actually working. And I've not actually really had any too big issues. And we'll see how this new RHO is going to turn out. But I have a unique perspective because I think so little about the quality of where the industry is at right now. But the question you guys should be asking is, why are we in this scenario right now? The reason why, it's really simple. Inflation, inflation, inflation. When you print out a bunch of money for a long time, you're going to start having inflationary issues. And people think of inflation, they generally only think of the price of the product going up. But there's more to it than that. Typically, manufacturers start pressing on their supply chain and their engineering and everything, their value chain, and they start looking at other ways to reduce costs. So technically, the inflation is actually worse than what we're seeing in these vehicles, because the manufacturers are decontenting so heavily that we're not seeing the full inflationary impact, but we actually are, because we've seen this roll into the quality and everything else in these vehicles now. So the real question is, how does this impact you and what can you do about it? And what should you do about it? Just like the last video, I'm gonna add a little bit more to this. I don't think anybody should ever spend outside of their means, and most Americans spend way outside of their means. So in full fairness, if you're struggling to repair an appliance in your house because it's a financial burden, I get it, I've been there before too. Now's not the time to buy a new vehicle. Just hang tight, make what you got work. And if you're in any kind of financial situation, I think it's common sense, but dude, don't stretch yourself thin. That's the worst thing you can do, because after you make the 5th, 6th, 8th, 10th payment on this new vehicle, the newness wears off, but that payment doesn't. And that sting sucks. And if the market takes a crap and there's a 20% correction on resale, now you can't even get out of that vehicle. So I tell anybody, don't buy new, don't lease, don't even buy used unless you have no other option. I got to get to the other side of the road because someone scolded me in a video that I'm on the wrong side of the road. I don't walk down the road very much, so it goes to show that I don't know the rules of going down the road here and there. So don't buy, don't lease, don't buy new, don't buy used if you're struggling financial. It doesn't matter how good of a deal a vehicle is. You don't want to ever put you or your family in a pickle. I'm not a financial advisor, just like Minority Mindset guy says. I'm just a guy on YouTube. What the heck do I know? Don't listen to a thing I say, but if I can help you guys, I'd love to do that. And if you can find a deal, you've done your homework and you feel comfortable and you're in the right space, dude, buy yourself a new vehicle, used vehicle, whatever, but be smart about it. But I think we're gonna see deals coming in very strategic areas where product lines are failing. So if you're on the fence about buying something affordable, maybe this Lightning might be a cheap way for transportation. I still don't think it's a bad vehicle. In fact, I think every vehicle can be awesome at the right price. I would drive a Lightning in a heartbeat. If I get it for 10,000 bucks and you can't financially lose, take a chance on it. You just have to decide if it makes sense for you. But people need affordable transportation, and everything I see right now across the board is insanely priced. And the stuff that is affordable is stuff you don't want anyhow, or it doesn't even make it to the United States. It's just not an option. I'd be curious, what do you guys think is gonna happen in the market? Will we see more good deals coming? I think we will on some. The markets I'm watching specifically right now is full-size SUV. I keep thinking you're gonna see full-size SUV prices drop. With that being said, it's not happening. Try to find inventory of a full-size GM SUV right now. None of them out there. Sequoia, none of them out there. Ford, the new Ford Expedition, none of them out there. But I think that's the market that's the most potential for a price reduction, because you could replace a full-size SUV with a minivan or an F-150 or a full-size truck, but it's hard to replace a full-size truck with something other than a full-size truck. Would you buy a Ford F-150 Lightning if it was marked 50% off MSRP? Or would you just say, absolutely not, I would never buy an EV at any price? I totally get both sides of that, but I'd just be curious for people that are kind of focused on a budget, how flexible are you? I know for me, I'm super flexible. I could, in a way, I mean, I like a cool vehicle, don't get me wrong, but I really don't care anymore. I don't know, it's just maybe 20 years ago it was a bigger deal to me. Now I really look at what's the best resale and what cost me the least amount of money. And that's why I've always kind of stayed in the wheelhouse of a certain few amount of vehicles. And that's always been the safe bet for me. But there's a lot of ways to do that. And if you make a ton of money, who cares if you lose 10, 15,000 bucks a year? It's not a big deal. So my recommendation to anyone on the fence, take your time. There's no reason to jump into anything unless it's such a good deal, such a good find, and you're in the right place that you could never do it again. That would be my recommendation, because I see the comments and there seems to be a lot of people where they believe the pricing of the vehicles is high. I agree. And they're struggling financial. I agree. Now is not the time to buy a vehicle. Then save your money for when you are more prepared. Do your research. Research costs you no money. That's the best part about it. You can research the crap out of what vehicle, what color, what engine is the best. You want the 2.7, you want this, that, and the other, and then go from there. I keep hoping we're going to see this quote unquote 30, 35% off MSRP deal. And as I mentioned before, the manufacturers will control their inventory and reduce production rates. Probably not going to see that. We may see it on failing brands like the F-150 Lightning. We might even see 50% off on those if people just say no. I think we're going to see similar things with the electric, what is it, Charger Challenger. I always confuse it, but it's the electric Charger Challenger by Dodge. No one seems to be interested in those things. So maybe if they're 50% off, people will buy them. I think it's actually a pretty cool vehicle. If it was like 20 grand, then you got like a fast commuting car, kind of interesting. And to add another topic, fake leather. What do you guys think about it? Some people are okay with it, some people are not. I'm okay with it as long as it's as durable, feels as good. But at the same time, the only reason I want something fake, if it's cheaper. You know, if I could have the option of something real, I would always take something real. But what are we saving when we go get this fake option? I mean, are we getting to see $1,000 lower price? It'd be kind of nice if these manufacturers would have like a line item, and we'll never see it, where it's like, all right, we stripped this option, and because of that, it's $1,000 less MSRP. It's an interesting idea. Have you been seeing the news about a potential idea of a 50-year mortgage? Be curious your thoughts on that. And how does that impact the automotive industry? I've got my thoughts on this. If we can't fix affordability for people, let's just extend mortgage rates. Who does that win for? It doesn't help you. It doesn't help me unless you work for a big freaking bank. They're going to win on this because they get guaranteed customers for an extra 20 years on a mortgage. How do you think this is going to roll out in the automotive industry? I think I know. It's going to be 10, 12-year loans now on cars instead of a 6-year, because 6-year wasn't enough, or 7 or 8. Are they going to now extend this in the automotive industry? Because if this is successful in mortgages, you know what's happening with cars. Maybe I'm seeing this wrong. Please leave your comments if you guys think I am seeing this wrong. I just don't see how extending length of a loan is being better for anybody long term. A 50-year loan on a home. So that means you get out of high school and you start working at 18. At 68 years old, 68 years old, if you started right at 18, your home would be paid for. I can't even wrap my mind around this. And I can't imagine, I don't know, maybe I completely missed this and I don't understand it. I just don't see how it's good for anybody. You guys will have to educate me. I guess I'm not a math wizard on this, but I don't see how this benefits anything other than making sure housing prices go up, because that will make housing prices go up because people will see a smaller payment, think they can afford more, which then if your house prices go up, what also goes up? Your insurance on your home is going to go up. and your taxes in your community goes up. So I just, once again, I don't see how this is going to benefit anyone. If anything, I feel like, why don't we make loans 25 years instead of 30 years to make the mortgage payment more painful, which will bring prices of homes down, and you pay your house off quicker. But I don't know, maybe I understand this completely the wrong way. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Last topic. We got 24 hours from now. Jeep is announcing something big is happening. I'm curious what you guys think it's going to be. I've got a few thoughts on it. One thought is, are they bringing back a Grand Wagoneer with a Hellcat, or maybe a 392? Or is the E-Rev or Rev version, extended range version of the Grand Wagoneer, is it going to come to fruition and they're actually going to put a date out there for being built? Or is this going to be something like the Grand Cherokee's coming back, the Trackhawk is coming back, something performance oriented? Or is there something completely different? Is it going to be Gladiator related with a new powertrain, or Wrangler related? I don't really know. It'll be kind of interesting to see in the next 24 hours what that is. I'll be curious. Leave your guys' comments down below. What do you think? And by the way, if you like the channel, guys, feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.